So this video is about seed starting. I brought it up in a video I did a couple weeks ago. It was actually just last week. But anyways, several people hit me up about it. So we're going to do this. And the way we garden is different probably than how most people garden. Mainly because we, not in the garden for us, we market garden. So we sell a lot of our produce, which means that we start seeds probably sooner than what a home gardener would start some things. What we do would work for a home gardener, but some things we would start quicker. So what I'm going to go over first and foremost is our garden seed starting dates. And we are here in Maryland, Western Maryland, elevation about 26 to 2750, somewhere in there. 100 feet above sea level. Our last frost date is roughly May 15th, average. I've seen it go into June. I've seen it not frost the whole month of May, so it can vary, but May 15th is our average last frost date. Some things you would want to start before that in the garden. Some things you definitely wouldn't want to start for several weeks after that, mainly because the soil needs to warm up before you put stuff in. Just because your last frost date is May 15th doesn't mean you can put tomatoes in the ground on May 15th. They will not grow. They'll die because the ground's cold. The ground needs to warm up. So those wouldn't go in the ground until early June or late May. But I'll go over this. I'll go over this plan, and then I'll go over some of this, which would be direct sowing, and then I'll skim over these two. These are what we take to our auction, and this is what we sell in our greenhouse. And these dates would be different than what you need. So, that all being said, do you want to read or do you want me to? I'll go over it.
I can go over it. What do you want?
Yeah, you go over whatever you. Let me see.
Like he said, the tomatoes, you don't want to put in as soon as the frost is done, because the ground isn't warm.
Right.
But for seed starting for us.
So our cherry tomatoes, we'll start the seeds for the cherry tomatoes February 20th.
And that's really early, and that's one of the first things we start.
That for our garden, that is the first thing on our list, actually. And our paste and beefsteak tomatoes, we won't start till March 19th. The reason that is because our cherry tomatoes will grow inside. The paste and beefsteak type, the canning type, will grow those outside. So we don't want to start them before March 19th. And the reason that is because they won't go in the garden. May 24th is when they'll go in the garden.
The cherry tomatoes. Yeah.
So that's and the peppers, we start our peppers on February 24th. That's when we'll start all of our peppers for the garden. And you would want to do that too. If you're a home gardener, you would want to do that too. If your average last frost date is mid-May, you can back this up a week or scoot this ahead a week if you're in a different area. You'd have to go by your zip code, and you can find your last frost date, or you may already know what it is.
And the peppers, the bell peppers, we don't plant till May 31st.
Don't go in the ground May 31st. Peppers take a long time to get them to grow. Spinach, we start those in trays before we put them in the ground. Our first peppers and green onions. Let's see, our peppers, green onions, leeks, first batch of lettuce, and the first batch of baby kale, we will start seeds for those on March 4th. And our first batch will go in of those April 16th.
Well, for the lettuce, the leeks are early May.
Yeah, for the leeks.
Yeah. And the spinach and baby kale is the same as the lettuce.
16th.
Yeah.
I'll show you these. It's actually right here. I'll put these pictures of these all in, screenshot them so you can look at it. You can pause the video here and you'll see what our seed starting date is. And like I said, we sell a lot of stuff, so you can't necessarily go by this. Most of these dates you can, but the amounts you definitely ain't going to want to grow. If you grow the amount of stuff we do,
You'll have a lot on hand.
You'll have a lot of friends.
Yeah. You better have a lot of friends and neighbors that will take.
Kale and chard, you can start those direct in the ground. The same with lettuce and spinach and kale, other baby kales. But we start ours in cells trays, just so we get a head start on them. Beets, collards, cutting celery, and radicchio, we'll start those on May 19th. And our first batch of beets will go in the ground.
Give me a second.
It's the top one of this.
Oh, okay. Beets is April 25th.
Yeah.
The radicchio is 4/16.
April 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a week apart.
Right. And then that's that. So then we have basil and dill. April 2nd is when we'll start those seeds. And all these seeds start indoors that we're going over right now. Basil and dill are on the next page of this in the back. Where's the other sheet of this at? Oh, right there. It's right there.
That was dill and cilantro.
Oh, dill will. I don't have a date on that when I start.
No, you don't.
I have a note when I start, but it's not on there.
Huh.
It'll be in late May is when it'll go in the ground. And that's the only thing. That's the only thing on this that I start early. And as I said earlier, when I show you this spreadsheet, excuse me, when I show you this spreadsheet, you can pause and write down what you want to. But I got a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff we start multiple times, and you can start any of them anytime you want to. From that point, well, the tomatoes and the peppers you wouldn't want to, but everything else you can start several different times throughout the year.
And we only do that because we do succession planting.
Correct.
Because we want to have fresh plants every so often.
We'll start lettuce every 4 weeks throughout the whole summer. Same with beets and spinach and all that stuff.
Yeah, we sell beets, a lot of beets.
One thing I didn't go over is most people would start those direct seed. Those we don't. We start them, and I'll do 2 plantings of those. The first one will be May 15th, and the second one will be June 29th. But anyways, I'll show you this on the screen, and these dates you can go by. Like I said, if you're our last frost date's May 15th, you can back this up or push this forwards whichever way you need to compared to your growing climate. Now I want to go over what we direct seed in the ground and the dates that we do that with.
And these papers here, these are all garden beds.
These are garden beds, and I'll show you these as well,
yeah.
so you can get an idea.
So each bed has what he wants to plant in them. Over to the side, it says what dates.
Right.
And if there's multiple dates, it's because we're succession planting with them.
Still this will still evolve throughout the year.
Oh yeah.
A lot of this will change, especially on this one sheet. A lot of it will change because this is a quick turnover bed. This one's not, but you'll get that, and I'll show you which ones is which. The first planting of beans is pole beans. The first one is pole beans, and that'll be May 20th. We'll put pole beans direct. They'll be direct sowed in the ground. And then when that bed comes out, it'll be cucumbers and radishes will go in on July 10th. June 10th, I put pole beans in. Bush beans, and they're all green beans. The pole beans are, I think they're Kentucky Wonder, and the bush beans are Providers.
Yeah.
And where I get a lot of my information from, to what I grow and when I grow it, not necessarily when, but what I grow is in this book right here.
He refers back to that book a lot.
I keep this book by me a lot of times. And I also have this. I don't know if you should be able to buy this. This I got at a conference we went to. This will give you a pretty good breakdown on when you can start stuff. It slides so you can see one side's fall, one side's spring, and it'll slide so you can see what your last frost date is and when you can plant in the ground.
It's very handy.
This is pretty handy. I'll look for this, and if I can find where to buy this at, I'll leave a link to it below. The book, you can buy this book off Amazon. That's where I got this one at. But I've read through this book cover to cover 3 or 4 times, and I look at it every winter when I'm going through my garden and seed starting plan. I refer to these and my notes and last year's stuff. Sweet corn will be seed planted on the 20th, and in that same bed, pinto beans will go on the 5th. I'm going to just do them 2. I'm not going to put squash in that like the 3 sisters. I'm only going to do the 2. And that's an experimental bed. I've never done that way before. I've never planted beans with my corn, but I want to try it this year. So we'll see how it works out. My fear is that the corn will overshadow the beans. But we'll see how it works out. Yeah, that's pretty much everything as far as when we start what. I have watermelons, green onions. I'll go in the ground on the 16th. I do not have a date for the dill and cilantro. Whenever we were ordering seeds from Johnny's, we have an issue here with cucumber, or not cucumber beetle. We do have cucumber beetles too.
Yeah.
Squash bugs, vine borers.
Yeah.
And on Johnny's Seeds, whenever we was looking through there to order our seeds this year, they recommend planting radishes around your squash. So we're going to plant radish seeds around all of our squash plants. And last year I put wood chips around some of them, and the ones I put wood chips around, the squash bugs didn't seem to bother them a whole lot. So we'll see how they are that way. So the stuff we sell here at the nursery, a lot of the flowers, we buy them in. We don't start them from seed.
Unless it's marigolds, sunflowers.
Sunflowers and marigolds. We have some odd and end seeds that we've saved over the years that we're going to start. Peppers, those will start for the nursery on February 22nd. Tomatoes, April the 11th. Squashes, April 30th. Cucumbers, April 30th. Cantaloupes in mid-April. Peppers, February 22nd. Herbs and whatnot will be throughout February, March.
And like for the nursery, we open, I think this year it's the 2nd or 3rd of...
the first Saturday in May, I think, this year.
Yeah, and a lot of these, like the squashes and stuff, we're not starting till April 30th, which is just days before we open. But that's only because
you can't plant
nobody's going to want to plant them and then hold on to them for a month until it's actually nice enough out to plant. So why have our plants ready when we'll be sitting on them for almost a month until people actually comes back to buy them?
And if they're in the pots for a month, they wouldn't transplant real well, and they would get leggy, and they would take care of the greenhouse. So we can't let them in there that long.
Yeah.
They end up at would be in the auction. And speaking of auction, we take a lot of stuff to the auction. And this amount that I have on here is full-size trays, not seeds. Like this is 8.5. Pickling cucumbers, we plant 8.5 trays in 4-packs. Those would be April 9th is our first planting of them. But the first thing we would start for the auction is lettuce. We're going to do some Swiss chard, and that'll start April 8th. I'll share all these with you. And if anybody has any questions, please ask. Feel free to ask anything. We don't have nothing to hide here.
Yeah.
Whether you're local and you want to stop in or something, just let us know. We'll go over this crap with you one-on-one if that's what you want. It's not a big deal. Everybody should grow something anyways, right? Whether it's whatever.
But you don't want to start something to grow and then hold on to it because you started it way too soon, and then it gets all leggy and crappy.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to do that.
So
yeah, for sure.
He figures all of this out, and then when it's time to actually start stuff, I just look at all these papers, and yep, I need this seed, this seed, this seed. Yep, I need that seed. Yep, we need that many trays. And
yeah, this year we're going to do things a little different. We normally did things in cell trays.
Yeah.
This year, and we still will do some things in cell trays. But this year, I bought some soil blockers. I'm going to try that. Hopefully, they work out good for us.
I hope so.
Sizes. It'll be so much quicker to transplant stuff when you're putting it in the garden than popping them out of them cell trays. I'm just a pain in the butt.
And half of them, the trays broke.
The trays broke. But we live in a society that throws things away, so they build things to use once and then it's it. It drives me crazy. We try to be as frugal as we possibly can. So, hopefully that helps somebody. Hopefully it helps a lot of people. If they watch this, they learn something. Like I said, this here is your main one that people's going to want to focus on. This is the garden starting dates. And I'll put on the screen when I put this there that our last frost date is April 15th. And this
May 15th.
Or yeah, I'm sorry, May 15th. And I'll correspond that with our garden plans, which that's 3 sheets long. That way you know when we're planting what, and you can see all that. You can pause it, screenshot it, or whatever you want to do. It'll definitely help you out. I know there are several people that said they struggle when to start stuff. This will definitely help you. Hopefully you learned something.
And we also go by, like, we get our seeds from Johnny's and whatnot. Mm-hmm. We go by what it says underneath each seed that we are getting. We look at how long it says it takes to germinate, and he then goes by that and goes backwards in the date. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you definitely gotta
have to. And a lot of, like I said, I do go by seed packs, especially on stuff we've never done before. Like this year, we're doing radicchio, cutting celery. We've never grown that before, so that stuff there, I definitely went off the seed pack, but also went off when we wanted to put it in the ground, how long it takes to get to what size I want to get to. So that's definitely going to help us. But,
yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, please leave them below. I'll leave links to everything we got here below, and I'll definitely share these spreadsheets with everybody. Should wrap it up.
Yep.
Any questions, let us know. Till we meet again. Take care and God bless.
See ya.
And then you just hit the